So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday yoga therapy class. And today we're working on legs and feet and grounding, relaxation. The lower part of the body is your root, your connection to the earth. So, when you're feeling ungrounded, emotionally, these are good practices to downregulate the nervous system and get more embodied. So just finding your place, your Tadasana. Can you guys all see my feet okay? Yes? Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So just bending your knees and have a look at those feet. And inhale, just opening the chest. And exhale, round the spine, draw the belly in from the pelvic floor up, and look down at your feet. And inhale, opening. I usually start my practice something like this, just to kind of assess what's going on. It's like a standing cat-cow. Knees over second toes, drawing the belly in. And just do this in your own timing. You can add a ha breath as you exhale if you like. This one you can do seated if you're doing desk work. You just want to take a 1 minute breath break. Do about 6 breaths of 10 seconds each. Inhale 5, exhale 5. You will find that your heart rate goes down, the beats per minute. Your heart rate variability, if you measure that, it will go up. And you'll feel more relaxed. And I do recommend standing as much as you can actually when you do these things rather than seated. Inhale, arms coming up your sides. Exhale, let's have the palms down, facing down like you do it in Tai Chi class or Qigong. And imagine a waterfall flowing down all the way to your feet. Just try to feel each moment of that. As you inhale, if you like, sweep through a radiant sun all around you. Come to the top of that waterfall overhead. And then exhale, draw it down as if you are standing in the center of it and the water is flowing all around you, cleansing your energy system, cleansing your mind, your body, your emotions, connecting you to source. The source is this water. Inhale through the radiance of the heart and exhale, feeling that cleansing, white, sparkling water. You're right in the center of it. Feel it in the front, the sides, the back, body, all the way to the feet. Just keep this going your own timing. This is a break, a yoga break you can do through the day. So if you want to stand once an hour, this could be a practice you could do as a mini yoga practice, just once an hour to embody and connect with your source, your heart, your stillness, your wisdom. One more time. Inhale through that radiance. And exhale, grounding. And If it's comfortable, bringing your legs together, and I'm going to invite you, this is a choice, to bring a cushion, or if you have a yoga block like this, these are lovely Canadian yoga blocks. They don't have them in other parts of the world, but they're lovely ones you can get here. You can use a cushion, little cushion, not too big. Yeah, and this is just a choice. If you don't have anything, you can just skip this, or a blanket. And the point of this is to be able to squeeze into the center as you exhale, squeeze in and pull up on the kneecaps, and just notice how you feel your legs and feet doing that. And release, exhale. So I'm engaging all the muscles of the leg. When I exhale, I'm bending the knees, I'm releasing, inhaling, pulling up, I'm standing tall. I'm pulling up and pressing in and pulling up on my kneecaps if that's comfortable on your knees. If it's not, don't do that part, okay? If it's too much on the knees, don't pull up. Now you can add some arm movement. Inhale, opening. And pulling up, exhale, releasing. Inhale, opening. Maybe bring the arms a little higher now. Exhale, releasing. If you like, inhale, bring the arms even higher. Just notice what your neck and shoulders like. Now exhale, hands to that belly button, all the way to the pelvic floor region, those lower three chakras, from the belly button to the pubic area to the pelvic floor, down to the feet. The inhale is going to be more opening the heart, the throat, the third eye, the top of the head, the higher chakras. Exhale, about embodiment, the lower three chakras. Inhale again. As you open the heart, can you ground through the legs by pulling up on those kneecaps, pressing into that block. Feel the feet. Exhale, completely ground, let go. So inhale. Think of a sunflower, how strong its stem is, how thick it is, how tall it is, how thick those roots are. And that beautiful flower that blooms, if the root system and the stem are strong. So opening the heart while grounding down, really important as we learn to open our hearts and trust that we have that stability, that groundedness through our system to hold us safely, container of safety. And just one more time. It's a very subtle exercise, but again, this is a great yoga break you can do during the day, just this. A mini practice for you. I think during COVID, we need to take lots of breaks and just rest here in samasthiti. Now feel just your legs and feet. Can you lift your toes as you inhale? Exhale, release them. Inhale, can you lift your toes? Exhale, release them. If that doesn't work for you, inhale, pull up on the legs, squeeze that block, and don't lift the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, release. Just do that a few more times. Just focusing on the legs and feet. Okay, we're going to add on, we're going to possibly come up on our toes now. So inhale, coming up and squeezing into that block. Now you might not come up very high. And exhale through the center. Now, if you've got an ankle injury or hip injury, knee injury, and your balance is compromised, or if your balance is just compromised for any reason, just use a wall or a chair. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. And you can add the hands sliding up the wall. If you've got a shoulder injury, this can be really helpful as well, this kind of movement. kind of like a cat-cow. You have your head right at the wall. It's very soothing, that variation. You can press away from the wall to get a nice back arch. So a little bit different feeling. You can also do it like this, holding onto a wall or a chair and just coming up and down. So your choice, just play with the pose, full Tadasana. If you're doing the full pose, you might want to stay in your balance. The hands can be anywhere that's comfortable. You can interlock the fingers, for example. And anytime you can bring those heels down. As you bring the heels down, you can stretch the hands up and stretch through the rib cage. It's one of my favorite ways to decompress the upper back. It also works into the lower back, stretching up as you come down and releasing. And you should be feeling your legs and feet a lot more now. Release that block. So just some side stretching. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, we're going to bring one down as the other stays up. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. Draw the belly in. Rooting down on that exhale. Inhale. So side bends work multiple systems. The musculoskeletal system. You're stretching between the ribs, those intercostal muscles that hold the ribs in place. They can get very tight through stress, through posture, sitting, especially as we age and everything kind of starts moving towards the earth a little bit more. You need to stretch up even more to lengthen. It's getting not lots of length. You're also getting into your lats, probably your quadratus lumborum, your QL. Even into the IT band a little bit, especially if you stick your hip out, you might get a bit more into even the hip. So play with that. And if you like, stay on one side. Now you've got some options, palms together. You can hold your top wrist and get more length through one side, especially if you want to have one side that's shorter than the other. If, for example, you have scoliosis, where you have a concavity or shortness on one side, this can be really helpful. Inhale, other side. You can also hold opposite elbows if that feels better, or interlock the fingers. So just see which variation feels better for you on this side. This variation feels better on my body, so I'm going to choose that. So just play with that. Yeah, you can have your arms like this or like this. Good. Please modify for your shoulders. You can have your arms down if it's too much, right? And you can keep it moving if it feels better than staying. Just keep it moving. So step one in yoga therapy is moving, and step two is staying. When you stay, it's more strengthening, and you go into deeper stretches, release. So keep that in mind. If staying is too much right now, just keep it moving. Okay, we're going to move into some balances with this. So inhale, arms coming up, and exhale, coming to the side. And inhale up, Exhale, side. So that's step one, is just that. Now step two is you can add a full side balance. Now, if you had a chair on either side, you could bring your hand to that chair and try to make your shoulders even as much as possible. And this should start waking up your hips. And again, remember, modification is you can just leave the foot on the ground, right? You don't have to lift the leg. If it's comfortable, you lift the leg, otherwise leave the foot on the ground. Or have a prop that you move towards. See how far you can go comfortably. And just finishing up. And release. Let's take a break for a moment. I'm just going to switch screens so I can see one more of you. All right, so we're going to work more in the front now. Inhale, arms coming up in the front. Exhale, I want you to lift one leg up, drawing the belly in as you bring the knee up. Inhale, stepping down and lifting up. Exhale, draw the leg up, draw the belly in. Inhale. Now, if this is too much, you can do this at the wall. So I've done this with movement disorders, for example, with these balance issues where you just hold the wall, okay? But you don't have to have a special condition to do that, just if your balance is not working so well. The next step is inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring the knee up. And then extend. Inhale. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, up. So you add that piece if you want, or just step side to side. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Draw the belly in as much as you can. Inhale, up. So again, level one is just stepping side to side. Simple. And you don't have to lift very high. That's level one. Or do this at the wall, holding the wall. Level two, adding that extension of the leg. This is getting into the hamstrings. Stretching, but also really strengthening those quads. It's like, oh, I can feel that. It's work, right? Oops. And I'm going to do a little work on strengthening the hamstrings today because this has been an area that I've been learning about this year. It really surprised me. It's like, oh, wow, hamstrings. My hamstrings are very flexible, but not very strong. I never thought about them as needing to be strengthened, but it's good for everything to be strong and flexible, both. In yoga, we want both. Our mind, we want our mind to be strong, yet flexible. Our bodies, and our nervous system. That's what heart rate variability is all about. Exhale, release is that ability of a very nimble nervous system that can fluctuate between relaxation and being attentive. Okay, so we're going to go into the back body now. Inhale, arms up. Level one is just bring your leg back, your foot back, and maybe go forward a little bit or a lot. So just see how that feels. That's already fair amount of work. Now, if you really drag your foot on the ground, if you're working more with your feet, you've got an ankle injury, for example, or arthritis in the toes. I know this is some of you. You can really work on dragging your foot in, especially. This works better on the floor than a mat. So you can play with that. This always reminds me of my ballet days. Some of you have that background, tendus they're called, and really work the floor. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Now, if you want to keep going, you want to work more on balance, you can start tipping forward a little bit or a lot. Try to keep your hips even. I'm pressing my hands back. I'm dropping that leg that's up. I'm dropping that hip. Inhale, coming up. It's easier if you bring the arms up at the end. I'm going to make it harder in a minute, but this is a nice contained version. As I do this, I feel my foot extending back as much as possible. Feel your foot and you'll find your balance improves a lot if you feel that foot going back. Okay, now, another way you can do this, if balance is a problem, just hold on to a wall and then you'll feel like you're 10 years old again, which is kind of always a good feeling. It's just hold on to a wall or a chair, okay? So no problem. You can do that instead. Just use a chair or a wall, exactly, beautiful. Yeah, just make this your own, back of a chair, or your hands could be at a seat of a chair as you do that exhale movement. Let's find a way to make this challenging, but not so challenging that you feel deflated and, oh, I can't do this. I mean, that's no fun at all. And I know that experience myself when I take a class and I can't do, I can't do most things. It's no fun. So don't do that to yourself. There's no point. Find that balance between strength and relaxation. Make it a challenge, but not too challenging. And just finishing up. Now, if you want to, you can stay in your balance. Could have your arms overhead. You could do this at a wall. It's really nice variation. You can even have your head at the wall. I really like this variation myself. And then switching sides. Dropping that hip. And really stretching that foot away, decompressing the hip, the lower back. Stretch the foot away. And then inhale up. And release. And notice how you feel. Might be a little out of breath. It's a bit of work, right? All right, I think you all deserve a forward bend after all that hard work. So let's do a forward bend. Let's focus on the feet. So there's a pose that you've all done with me, the in-person classes, Tadasana. Inhale, but this is a variation I created that's more accessible to more people. Inhale, arms at the side. Exhale, I want you to round the spine and sit back into your heels. Draw the belly in. You're actually going to round. Lift the toes up if you can. Knees tracking over second toes. Bend to where you can. You don't have to go down very far. You go down quite a bit. Inhale up. Now I want you to imagine that you're hugging a tree as you do this. And for me, this is an opportunity to remember that I am teaching on sacred First Nations land. For me, I'm in the Seashell Band here in Garden Bay. And just paying homage to the peoples who populated this land before the settlers came. So wherever you are in the world, if that's applicable, you could think about that as you do that exhale. Just that connection to earth, to land, to perhaps Aboriginal peoples. You can bend just a little bit or a lot. This is very balancing for the hips. It also allows you to feel the weight of your body into your feet. So for those of you who have done downhill skiing in your life, you know, after a day of downhill skiing, you feel your feet in a way you haven't felt them in, you know, a while. This pose can do the same. It's the downhill ski pose. Really going for it. And it's strengthening for the knees. And release. All right, just to take that up a notch, Utkatasana. I'm going to just switch the screen. Thank you. It's lovely to be able to see you all a little bit bigger here. All right, so we're going to go to the wall, if you have a wall available, and put your back on the wall. And just slide down on the wall. And just see if you can stay a few breaths here. You could put a block, if you have one of those thicker blocks. Let me just grab my bigger block. So one of these guys can be nice if you have one of those. And you can put that between your legs and squeeze in. You can use a bolster as well that goes all the way to the feet. If you don't have a wall, you can do this without the wall, okay? Inhale, arms up. So you're just trying to stay in the pose. This is called Ardha Utkatasana. Exhale, release. I'm just adding the arm movement to make it a little less enduring. Inhale up, exhale down. You could also do this at a chair. Inhale, stand up, exhale, sit down on the chair. So that's a lovely variation. I'll show that another day when we're working with a chair. This is strengthening those inner thigh muscles. This also is helping with issues like incontinence as we age, unfortunately, especially for women. This becomes definitely part of many of our lives, is dealing with all sorts of incontinence issues. So that's squeezing in as we exhale, pulling up in the pelvic floor all the way to the belly button. If you're at a wall, you can feel that I'm hugging right into the wall. I'm not showing very well because I've got my sweater on, but a little chilly today in Garden Bay. Squeeze in so your back goes flat to the wall. It's very strengthening. Go down even further if you want to work harder. Okay, when you've had enough, do a forward bend. So if you're at a wall, you can bring your butt to the wall and come forward. If you want to keep your head higher than your heart, just look up slightly. Otherwise, if you can, release forward. I've got my hands on my rib cage and I'm drawing my rib cage forward. I'm trying to lengthen my spine and completely release my lower back. You can do this seated at a chair, stretching your legs long in front of you. You do one leg at a time. I like to hold my calves or ankles to lock in. That's a choice. You can keep it moving as well. Inhale, look up, exhale forward. If you don't have a wall, you can use, if you've got two blocks, inhale up, exhale down, or be on your fingertips. You can also do this with your hands on a chair and just stand. Do your forward bend with your hands on a chair. Now just let go, be in the pose. The poses are called asana. Asa means to be. Can you just let go and be? Inhale, let, exhale, go. Say that to yourself as you stay here. When you're ready, come up very, very slowly. Inhale, part way up, sliding your hands up your legs, your thighs. Exhale, stay. Inhale, perhaps even lifting your head. Just help get the blood pressure regulated. Exhale, stay. You will likely feel a bit dizzy. Just take a moment. This is one of the fastest ways to down-regulate the nervous system is just straight forward bend, bring your head lower than your heart. This is how headstands work, handstands, all the inversions. This is an inversion, but it doesn't put any pressure on the neck and shoulders, which after age 50 is normally contraindicated for people because of the compression it causes in the spine. If you're lucky, you're able to do it until you're older, or even, your whole life. Some people have that fortune in their anatomy. So just rest for a minute. So during those deep inversions, you could be doing a handstand or something like that, if that's part of your practice. Notice how you feel. Are you feeling your feet a bit more? Now, notice where your weight is on your feet. Is it forward or back? Mine, for example, tends to always be a little bit forward, which is, I think, quite indicative also of my personality. I'm like a go-getter. You tend to hold back a bit more. You might be a little more back in your body. Just notice that metaphor of the mind in your body. Or maybe you're right in the middle today. And has this changed? So for example, I find it hard to feel my left side naturally because of scoliosis. But in my yoga practice, within about 10 minutes of the practice, I start to feel my left leg activating and my left foot. And then I know the sama, the balance, is coming. So just notice if you can feel both feet, and where is your weight on the feet? All right, so we're going to do some other forward bends now. We're doing lots of leg stretches today and calf stretches. Before we go into another big forward bend, we're going to do some calf stretches. Find a wall. Use my bigger wall here. And you're going to go into a kind of warrior type pose, but you're going to have one foot back a bit. I'm just going to angle my camera down just to make sure that you guys can see everything really well. Okay, and I'm going to switch my screen and see if I can see a few more of you. Okay, I'm going to go back to my beginning screen. So just stretching one calf at a time. All right, back to my beginning group. Start with your side that feels easy. So keep your feet nice and parallel. Now look at my back foot and it will tend to turn out. There's tightness in that calf. See if you can make it parallel. The back foot to the front foot. Now I'm bending that front knee. And I'm going to add a stretch for the neck and shoulders as well by bending my elbows and putting my forehead on the wall. This gets into the neck and shoulders really nicely. Try to draw that rib cage in. I'm looking back at my foot. Oh, it's turning out a bit. I'm going to toe in. Now, if you've got tight fascia on the bottom of your feet, and you're prone to plantar fasciitis, you might be feeling a lot of stretching going on in your bottom of your foot. If it's too much, exhale, bend your knee a little bit, and then inhale, straighten. Now, if you can, bend that knee while you keep the heel down, and you feel a stretch into the ankle. Now, if you're dealing with a broken ankle, this is probably not a great pose right now, because this is not going to aid with mending that ankle. So just keep the legs straight, or pick a different pose. For example, lying on your back and just stretching the leg, pointing and flexing the foot. That might be a better pose right now than this. This is fairly intense. So just be careful. So as I exhale, I'm bending that back knee a little bit. I'm trying to get into the deeper calf muscle, the soleus. This was probably my first embodied anatomy experience when I was at dance school. We did an anatomy course and I learned about the soleus muscle, and I was like, oh wow, that's really important to stretch. So we're going to do the other side. So again, looking at your back foot, try to make it parallel to the front. Your feet can be hip width apart or wider. The length between your legs is your choice, it's comfort. I'm adding this upper back stretch. If this is too much, you can just have your hands down like this or something like that. So that's much easier for the upper back. My front leg is bent. Exhale, bending that back knee a little bit, and you might feel that into your ankle and into your deep calf muscle. Inhale, stretch the whole leg. Feel your big calf muscle, the gastrocnemius. Just play with that. And when you're ready, you're going to step both legs back. Just do spinal stretch. So your hands can be, I'm just going to show some variations. So you can start in full Tadasana with your arms up the wall, come back. You do this with your hands at the back of the chair. This is if you don't have a wall available to you. So you can do like a ski slope, or you can come halfway down, Ardha Uttanasana. And you can move your hips side to side, just to get into the hips a little bit. I know a lot of you had some sore hips today. And into the whole side body, you can bend one knee or keep both legs straight. You can turn the head side to side. So this is just variation. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend, and adding this flossing of the hips. Perhaps going into a full forward bend now. And we're not going to stay there too long right now. Coming up halfway, inhale, exhale, stay, inhale all the way up. Exhale, release, Samastiti. And notice how you feel. Again, feel your feet. Do you feel both feet a bit more than you did before? All right, so big focus on balancing. Oh, someone's trying to get in. There we go. All right. So we're going to stretch one leg at a time. So bring one leg forward than the other. You can do this with your hands on a chair if this is too much to do with your hands on the floor. You can also do this with your hands on blocks. My back foot is turned out a little bit or a lot. You can also have the back foot at a wall, which is a lovely variation to get more stability. So I'm going to show that actually today. Inhale, arms coming up. And I'm going to interlock my fingers. You do not have to do this. Exhale, stretching forward as you draw the belly in. So you might come just halfway down, hands on a chair. You might bend that front knee. As you come forward, you might place your hands on blocks, or you might come down to the ground. I'm just going to stay here. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, forward bend. So just whatever variation you've chosen. Hands at a chair, seat of a chair, back of a chair. You could have a stack of blocks that you bring your head to as you do this exhale and inhale. Hands on the floor, stretching the whole leg. And if you're ready, just stay in stillness. Now, to maximize the stretch for your back, bring your rib cage forward on your legs so that the lower back gets more of a stretch. Inhale, let exhale go. I'm letting go of lengthening the breath now, and I'm going into meditation, breath awareness. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Or Sanskrit, inhale, Om, exhale, Namo. Coming out of this, this is very down regulating the nervous system, relaxing. Inhale halfway up and bending the front knee, hands on the thigh. Maybe lifting the head to again help regulate blood pressure a little faster. Exhale, stay. And inhale, coming up. And exhaling the step forward just to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to bring the opposite foot back. And I'm just going to find my heel at the wall. My foot is turned out as much as I need for comfort and balance. My feet are as wide as is comfortable for balance. Hip width apart or more, can even be just shoulder width apart, as they do in Tai Chi. Inhale, arms coming up. I'm going to interlock my fingers. You do not have to do this. I'm doing this to create some traction in the spine. Exhale, coming forward. So I'm lengthening the spine as I draw the belly in. So I'm rounding the lower back, but I'm trying to lengthen the spine. Finding my place. So I might be coming halfway to a chair. My hands might be coming to some blocks. I might be coming to my fingertips. Inhale, lengthening up. I'm going to try to get my rib cage forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. You can do this with a bend in the front knee, but if you want to stretch the front leg, I'd recommend lifting the torso until you can keep the leg straight. So bring the hands to a chair or blocks, or even a wall, or a countertop, a table, even higher. Focus on stretching the legs. If your back is tight and it's not allowing you to get into the legs, lift your back higher so that that's not blocking you. Now, lengthen that breath. Again, you can move. Inhale, lift, exhale, forward, or just stay. And then let go of the breath. Go into meditation. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, om. Exhale, namo, or your own mantra for letting go. It might be inhale, am, exhale, peace. Or inhale, am, exhale, here. Sometimes when I'm very ungrounded, I find that really anchors my nervous system back to the present. Or I say now. Here, now. Inhale, here. Exhale, now. When you're ready, just step forward right from here. Make it even easier and just come up, inhale halfway up. Exhale, stay, inhale all the way up in your time. Might be a bit dizzy. Let's hold on to a wall or chair as you transition. Coming to standing and just notice how relaxed you feel from having brought your head lower than your heart. And this is just physiology, great preparation for pranayama, breathing exercises, meditation, to just settle the nervous system, to move into relaxation response. We're going to go down to the earth now. So I'm going to angle my camera down and switch my screen, see a few more of you. So just finding there we go. All right. A little few camera issues today, but I hope that's not super, seems a little crooked. I'm going to give it a shot and just try to clean it up a bit here. Okay, that looks a little better. All right. Falling camera today, that was good fun. All right, never a dull moment in the world of Zoom. So just finding your spot, and if you could have your belt available, that would be great. Okay, and I can see, so are you okay? Oh, no, we look a little more crooked here. I don't know what's going on today. I'm going to take a slight pause as we all settle. I'm going to try to get this a little bit straighter. Oh, well, I think I'm going to let it go. Speaking of letting go, just lie down. I think the floor is relatively straight. I think my window is a little bit crooked. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. So just lie down as you're waiting for me to try to get my camera a bit straighter. I'm not sure what's going on today. It's a little better. All right. Well, we'll go with that. Okay, you should be able to see lots of me now. I'm gonna lie down. So let's just start with those knees. And you could use a block or two under your thighs or a pillow. We didn't do this last week, so I thought I'd do it this week. Just gonna, as you inhale, you're gonna point your toes and exhale, flex. Now you could have your legs, your feet on the ground, but if you wanna make it harder, try to extend your legs long and point as you bring the legs slightly off the ground, the lower legs that is, and exhale, flex the feet. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, you can put a belt on your feet. Now, this is particularly good for those of you healing from foot, ankle injuries to strengthen if you're at the strengthening phase, not just relaxation, flexibility. You could, if you've got Joya toes, some of you asked me about that before, got those toe stretchers, you can add those into your feet. And I'm pressing out into the belt with my little toe side of my feet. I hope you can see that okay. And inhale, I'm stretching my legs long, and I'm pressing my feet out into the belt, and exhale, I'm flexing my feet. Now I've got my legs off the ground the whole time. If you want to make this easier, get rid of that block and it's a lot easier. It's still very effective. You can just pull up on the kneecaps as you do that exhale and press out. It's those heels out and then inhale point. That's also working quite hard. I'm going to work harder by putting a block or two under my thighs. You could put the block under your knees if you've got hypermobile knees. That can give you more stability in that joint. You want to add on upper back, inhale, arms overhead, Tadasana mudra, tuck the chin in, exhale, flex the toes towards your nose as you draw your belly in. This is incredibly strengthening for the legs and feet, and if you've got one side that's weaker than the other, you will know which side that is right now. You will feel it firing in new and unusual ways. If bringing the arms overhead is too much for your neck and shoulders, don't bring them as high, so you just bring them to the ceiling. Or you can have a bolster or a big bed pillow or two behind you and bring your hands to that. You might be feeling this into your hips if you have weakness in one or more of your hips, both your hips. And notice if you have a weak ankle or a history of a broken or twisted ankle, whether that weakness finds its way into the outside of your hip as well. It's quite common. Pressing out into the belt. That's what really takes it up a notch. And release, relax. Move those props for a minute. We'll use the belt later in a different way. Okay, so I know some of you really like this next exercise that I created about a year ago for my own practice. Inhale, arms coming up, exhale, draw one leg in. So you flex your heels. Drag it in. Inhale, bring that leg up to the sky point. Exhale, bring the leg down. I'm playing with flexing and pointing my foot, and you can do that any way you like. There's different ways of thinking about that. Try the other side. I'm going to try to flex as I exhale and point as I inhale, but I've been known to do it the opposite. So do what feels best for you. And really use the floor if you're lying on a mat. Fold the mat so that your legs are not on the mat. So fold your mat so it's underneath your back, but not your legs. Inhale up. Exhale down. So this is working with tracking of the knees. That just helps with synovial fluid reuptake through the knee joint. It's also flossing the nerves running into the legs. It's going to be very good for sciatic nerve pain. It's also a dynamic stretch for the legs, but your legs are probably fairly stretched by now. Now I'm going to play with moving my ankles the opposite direction. So I'm inhaling, flexing, exhaling, pointing. I think it's kind of nice both ways, and just playing with which one I like to do today. It's also a core strengthening exercise. As soon as you're working from the pelvic floor up to the belly button, you're working with Mula Bandha, root lock, Uddiyana Bandha, stomach lock, and this energetically is extremely grounding. We're going to try with both legs if this works. If it's too much, go back to one leg at a time. I'm drawing both legs in. So as I do that, I'm using my core to drop my legs in. I'm actually shaking a bit as I do this. And then I bring my knees off, inhale, lift up. I'm going to flex my feet as I come up. Exhale, rooting down. I'm touching my toes down. Further away my toes are from my hips, the harder. And inhale, extend. Do that a few more times. You can do one leg at a time if it's better for you right now. Try to move from the Mula Bandha, the root lock, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. That's the Mula, the root. The root runs all the way down to the feet. So I call this the Mula root, or the Mula line, the root line, from the belly button all the way down to the feet. Mula line, Mula root, that's funny, that's a little bit redundant, because Mula means root. So just notice how your whole back is responding to this. There's also lovely floss for the whole back, from the lower back to the upper back, neck and shoulders, the whole body involved. Just do one more. Start to exhale, then start to move. So that you're engaging from the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, legs in. Inhale, extending up, Semi-inversion. Stretch your hands as long as you can above your head. So stretching the torso. Exhale, rooting down. You can leave your hands up. That feels better in your neck. Or if you can, bring your hands down. That's going to work harder, the core. And then inhale, extend. Tadaka Mudra. And release, relax. Now, when you do your relaxation, if you've got a wall available to you, you can press your feet into that wall and notice. You tend to have one hip that goes higher than the other. Notice how possibly that has shifted, and you'll really feel it. You'll feel like that side that normally doesn't work, that it's really long right now. Because your nervous system will be like, this is new information. This is not my norm. The more you do these exercises, the more these adjustments that you're making will hold, because we're building strength and flexibility. This is an active therapy that you are doing. Not going to a massage therapist, not going to an acupuncturist. You're doing this yourself. So it's quite empowering to be able to do these things for yourself. Just feel your whole body sinking into the earth. Feel the weight of your pelvis sinking into the earth. Feel the weight of your legs and feet sinking into the earth. Feel the weight of your whole torso, your whole back sinking into the earth. Feel the weight of your head, neck, shoulders, back of your arms, back of your hands, whole upper body sinking into the earth. Now feel from the top of the head, the back of the head down, through the shoulders, middle back, lower back, hips and buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, heels, backs of the arms, backs of the hands. Feel the whole body from the top to the bottom sinking into the earth. Finding that apana vayu, that downward energy, connecting us to Mother Earth. We just celebrated Earth Day. It's a very important concept in yoga, our relationship to Prakriti, Earth, matter. Our body, our mind, and our breath are part of the earth. Our body, our breath, and our mind are all part of Prakriti, the earth. What yoga philosophy and Sankhya philosophy, the oldest of the 6 schools of philosophy of India, they say that there's another element of us called Purusha, or soul, spirit. When you settle the mind-body continuum via the breath and awareness of the mind, concentration of the mind, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana. Breathing exercises, concentration exercises leading to meditation. When you settle the body-mind continuum through the practices of Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, you start to be able to experience your Purusha, your soul, your true self, untainted by the thoughts, you start to experience peace, peace that passes all understanding. Deep-seated peace, Shanti. And you start to feel that you're really in flow with your life. You're dancing, a beautiful dance with life, rather than fighting against the flow of Prakriti, nature. Just resting here. When you're ready, move into our last exercises today. So you can stay here in Shavasana. You can move to legs up the wall. If you're doing legs up the wall, you can put a belt on your ankles and your thighs, or one and the other. You can have your buttocks to the wall if your hamstrings are tighter away. You put your legs up on a sofa or a chair and put a belt on your thighs and just let your thighs be hip width apart. Or you can join me in seated meditation. Your choice, how you want to spend our last minutes together. We'll do some pranayama together. Just finding your breath. Long exhale, drawing the belly in as you exhale. Inhale into the chest, then into the belly. Exhale, drawing the belly in from the pelvic floor up. Inhale from the top of the chest down to the belly. Exhale from the pelvic floor up, all the way to the chest relaxing. Inhale, chest to belly, expanding. Exhale, belly to chest relaxing through contracting the belly in. Inhale, expand. Feel the back body. Inhale from the upper back to the lower back. Expanding. If you're on the floor, feel them expand into the floor. Exhale from the pelvic floor up the front body. Ujjayi Pranayama, constricting the throat if you can. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, belly expands. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, belly expands. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. This is too much, just focus on the belly expanding. Inhale, exhale, belly contracting. Adding on for those of you who are in seated position, we're going to do some Anuloma Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale both nostrils while constricting the throat. Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale out your left nostril. Inhale both nostrils. I'm going to switch my hands. Exhale out your right nostril. Anuloma Ujjayi Pranayama. This is a down regulating pranayama. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale left. So it's a pranayama for relaxing the nervous system. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale right. One nostril fully closed, the other open completely or half closed if you can. Keep this going your own time. Pick a ratio. Inhale 4 to 12 seconds. Exhale the same. Counting in your head. If you're lying on the floor, you can just do Ujjayi Pranayama lying on the floor, counting the breath. Inhale and exhale same length. No nostril breathing, just both nostrils is also fine. Still feeling how the breath moves my body as we worked on it earlier. So inhale from the chest to the belly, exhale belly to chest. Great pranayama to relax the mind. You might, as you do this, gradually to be able to extend the exhale by a second every few rounds. You might be able to add a second to that exhale. And this exhale part of the breath activates the relaxation response, parasympathetic nervous system. And just finishing out. Hands at the heart. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace. Peace. Just continue meditating from this place, or join me to end the practice. Namaste.